Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
It's the Opperman Report. Join digital forensic investigator and PI Ed Opperman for an in-depth discussion of conspiracy theories, strategy of New World Order resistance, high-profile court cases in the news, and interviews with expert guests and authors on these topics and more. It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. You can find me at Opperman Investigations and Digital Forensic Consulting through my website, emailrevealer.com. We also have a members section for the radio show here, so if you like the show, you can go to oppermanreport.com. We have exclusive content there that you won't find online or on the air. It's only available behind a paywall at oppermanreport.com. Documents, or exclusive interviews, all kinds of great stuff. And as always, our archives of every show we do, whether on the air, AM/FM radio, or on the internet, is available for free at Spreaker.com. Over 2,000 shows on there. And I play repeats there every night too as well. So you can go to Spreaker.com, follow the show for free. You get an email notification anytime we do something live. And our guest today, Stephen Hoffenberg, we've done about 10 shows with him that you can find there on Spreaker.com. And I would encourage you to go back there. If this is the first time you're hearing about Stephen Hoffenberg, to go to Spreaker.com and check out all the shows we've done with him. He's the former CEO of the New York Post, and he was the CEO of Tower Financial, which was a financial company back in the 80s, and he was partners and employed Jeffrey Epstein. And throughout the whole thing, with all the investigation down there in New York City into Tower Financial, Epstein was up to his neck and all of that, and he skated away, absconded with the funds of Tower Financial up to $400 million, and that's where we are today. So, Mr. Hoffenberg, are you there?
Good morning, Ed. How are you today?
I'm good, except for the bugs I was telling you about with the mosquitoes out here. I'm not going to do it. Otherwise, I'm very good.
Stay away from the bugs. Are those FBI bugs or are they regular bugs?
We definitely got those problems too as well. So, but we're doing the best we can. Remind the audience before we get started who Stephen Hoffenberg is.
Yes, Stephen Hoffenberg is the man that saved the New York Post when it went bankrupt and was going out of business. Actually, was going to be taken over by the Daily News and disappear from the scene. And Stephen Hoffenberg was at Towers Financial Corporation, which was the public company that Jeffrey Epstein made his first stake in millions and millions of dollars to create the Epstein enterprise, which is now the secret mystery of what is really going on with all of these rapes and young girl victims and tremendous courtroom fights about $1 billion. It's a remarkable story of Jeffrey Epstein being a great part of Towers Financial, and I worked with Jeffrey Epstein and knew him for 9 years, one-to-one, and now they've asked me, the media, to reveal the onion and peel it back and explain the mystery. And that's what we have started to do. We're explaining the real mystery of Jeffrey Epstein.
So now, Mr. Hoffenberg, I think the big news this week so far is you sent me this information about an Epstein estate, and 61 of the pedophiles' victims have entered into settlement talks.
Yes, there's been an agreement reached and approved on the Virgin Islands, which has massive litigation against the Epstein estate, charging the estate officials, Darren Indike, a co-conspirator of Jeffrey Epstein for over 20 years. He's a lawyer for Epstein. He was the inside counsel, the man that prepared the paperwork and leads the legal drive to launder over $1 billion. That's not being turned over to the authorities. And that's the reason for the litigations against the estate alongside of the rape victims. The Virgin Islands have really prosecuted this Darren Indike enormously for his misconduct with Jeffrey Epstein. And there's right now over $600 million sitting in bank accounts not explained at all properly for the Virgin Islands, and that's what's in the courtrooms of the Virgin Islands, and the Virgin Islands Attorney General is prosecuting all of this civilly, which is about to turn criminal. And this week, an agreement was reached with this corrupt estate to allow a victims administration fund to start work now in paying over 46 or 47 victims of rape their damage money and their treatment money. These victims are talking to me by communication daily, and they need treatment, medical treatment, psychological treatment that they're not getting. They were really injured by this Jeffrey Epstein brutal attack on these girls. And this week, for the first time, a fund was created to use this over $600 million to pay the victims psychological treatment, medical treatment, damages, settlements for the victims' lawsuits. Thank goodness that.
But okay, now there's there's a $600 million estate, right? And they're putting aside $100 million in a fund to compensate 61 women.
No, they're actually able to use the whole estate.
Oh, really?
The journalist that wrote the $100 million number was thinking that the projected amount of recovery for the 61 victims' lawsuits would be $100 million, but that wasn't a point of the lawsuit or a point of the victims' fund. They could probably use the entire $600 million, and the Virgin Islands is litigating for their benefit from the $600 million right now on all these crimes. So I think the numbers are going to be more like hundreds of millions of dollars going to the victims' fund.
Okay, I guess that reporter came up with that number based on previous settlements and previous Epstein cases when he was alive.
But there was no cap.
Okay.
There was no restriction. Nothing like that.
Now, also, too, it talks about that there's going to be like a panel created to decide how much victims will be paid.
If you remember the 9/11 fund,
right,
the ones that were used for that particular amazing damage and injury, these are the same folks that were in charge of the 9/11 fund who are taking over the Epstein corrupt estate fund and using the over $600 million to pay out claims. These are the same people. That's the panel.
That's the panel. Okay, great. So then pretty much you got everything you wanted here, right?
Yes. I mean, there's no question that the victims will get paid unless this breaks down. The victims should get paid. Yes.
Now, in this agreement, though, it states that the victims can't go after any of the co-defendants, any of the co-conspirators, anybody who ever did any kind of business with Jeffrey Epstein, whether it was rented in a hotel room or did any kind of business with him.
That's an interesting point of fact as to who they can sue. They can sue people that did business with them. I believe the interpretation will come out later that they are not suing the co-conspirators, which have no money anyhow. They're not preventing lawsuits against the criminals who are actually persons of interest and wealthy people. They are targets and they are being sued. But we're talking about the employees of Jeffrey Epstein, and that's going to be well defined down the road as to other lawsuits. But the lawyers aren't seeking to sue people that have no money. There's no benefit to that. These lawyers don't get paid unless they collect and recover. And they're not going to waste their many hours of legal time suing co-conspirators that have no money.
No, we understand that, but the language I'm looking at right now says any entities, that they will be unable to file suit against any entities or individuals who are or have ever been engaged by, whether as independent contractors or otherwise employed by, worked in any capacity for, or provided any services to Mr. Epstein, or the Epstein entities and the Epstein estate. So that would mean anybody who rented a hotel room to Jeffrey Epstein could not be sued if they were guilty of these same crimes.
But there would be no purpose in suing a hotel operator who rented a hotel room for Jeffrey Epstein. So that sentence is not damaging to the victims.
Okay, no, what about Prince Andrew, right? Prince Andrew could...
Oh, no, Prince Andrew's a target. He's not excluded.
But he could easily go back and say, listen, I did business with the Epstein Trust. Here's a document. Look, and I sold him a ice cream cone. You know what I'm saying?
That's not going to happen. Prince Andrew is charged with actual rape. People that are victims, these young girls that were raped, are not suing for a hotel room
No.
or
When I'm
selling
talking,
an ice cream cone.
No, when I'm
But
talking
Prince
about
Andrew raped girls.
right.
But Prince Andrew raped girls. That's not excluded.
When I'm
That
talking
is
about
not
renting,
waived.
when I'm talking about renting him a hotel room, obviously I'm talking about Donald Trump. Okay, that these girls could not sue Donald Trump. Okay, because he had a business relationship with Epstein. Okay, right.
Well, that's totally different. They could sue Donald Trump, not as president, but as a
Right.
rapist.
Okay, so,
And he was sued as a rapist. That did take place.
so then this would not exclude them from suing Ghislaine Maxwell, who has been accused of rape in this, right?
Well, she's been sued already.
That's
she
true.
is being sued. So this is not... And she would have a hard argument to make if somebody is charging Ghislaine Maxwell with rape of a young girl, if that victim is charging actual criminal conduct and civil rape, she's not going to get out of that with this agreement.
Okay, now have
That's
you
not
actually
gonna
seen this
happen.
agreement?
I have browsed some of the wording. I
Okay.
haven't studied it.
Okay. Now, what about, is there a non-disclosure clause?
Well,
Okay.
that's going to be up to the parties.
Yeah.
That's going to be discussed, and that's going to be in the settlement documents as to what they're agreeing to. This is really for Epstein. Let's stay focused.
Yeah. Now,
This is to pay the money of Epstein's rates.
okay, but also, too, in this agreement, it specifically names the co-executors of the trust, Darren Endyke and Richard Kahn, as being excluded from being able to be sued.
Yes,
Now, how unusual is that?
that's very unusual, and I think the jury is out on that point. Because if they're arrested and indicted in the Virgin Islands, which is very probable that Darren Endyke and Richard Kahn are going to be arrested in the Virgin Islands, I believe that's going to change the condition that you just referred to substantially.
Okay, so then,
The jury's out on that one.
all right, so this agreement does not prohibit the women, so far, does not prohibit the women from continuing speaking out. They can, so far.
Right.
But-
There's no stopping the speaking out. The courts are stopping the speaking out by asking the victims to try the case in the courtroom and not in the media.
Okay.
There are gag orders on the victims about speaking out. That
Gotcha.
there is.
And that's by the Virgin Island courts.
And the New York courts.
Okay.
Both. There are lawsuits, half those lawsuits, probably 30, are in the New York City courts as well.
What is being done to find, search out, and locate Epstein's other money that he put in other people's names, like his brother?
There's massive litigation occurring in the Virgin Islands in order to collect from Epstein's assets. That's taking place, and lawsuits have been filed charging crimes
Right.
by Jeffrey Epstein, by all his co-defendants, by Darren Endyke, by Richard Kahn, and has been very substantially moved forward in courtrooms in the Virgin Island of criminal misconduct where criminal liens have been filed on all of Epstein's money. All of it. The over $600 million has criminal liens filed on it in the Virgin Islands.
What about the property in his brother's name? Are there liens against that property?
The brothers' properties are going to have to be litigated separately. And I'm sure that that's targeted the FBI has done an enormous amount of work here on investigating all of this, and they have a very substantial set of papers, evidence against the brother, against Epstein, against all his assets. And I'm sure that's going to come to light. There's no question. The FBI did a very major amount of work on these crimes.
Okay, before we move on, is there anything else you want to tell us about this recent settlement negotiations going on in the Virgin Islands right now?
Well, what we're concerned about and what I deal with is the massive lifelong injuries of the victims. Every day they're suffering. There's no treatment fund. There's no psychological fund. There's no medical fund. And these victims are ill. They're sick. They have lifetime injuries. And we have to be sensitive to these poor raped women. We have to pay attention to that. This is the crime of the century when it comes to rapes of women. It's remarkable what this Epstein character did. It's the worst.
What do you say? What, when I circulated this article, a lot of people were upset and said, well, now the truth will never come out and everything's going to be covered up. This is only peanuts, not getting that much. What is your response to those people?
Well, it's not over. The first important part, and there's been an awful lot of work on this damage fund, this way to pay the medical injuries, the psychological needs for treatment, the damages. No money was getting paid, and that's been a catastrophe for the victims. At least now there's a start. The first step has been taken to get checks to the victims, to get payments to the victims, to get treatment to the victims. This is the first positive step in a very corrupt cover-up that has to be revealed. It's terrible.
Now, have the executives been removed and replaced or not?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
And I'll explain that when we talk about the executive's removal. That has to be explained.
Do you want to explain that now?
Sure.
Okay.
The executives, there's two of them in question. Darren Indike, a 20-year lawyer, counsel to the notorious Jeffrey Epstein crimes. He is the main co-conspirator that acted with Jeffrey Epstein and who has been charged under this criminal lien that is filed in the Virgin Islands against all of Jeffrey Epstein's assets with enormous crimes of Darren Indike as a co-conspirator. It's all spelled out how he covered up, how he obstructed justice, how he hurt all these victims and hurt the Virgin Islands. He did tremendous damage to the Virgin Islands with the Epstein businesses and fraud on the Virgin Islands programs. And they are suing him under the criminal lien filed in the estate proceedings that are now probably going to convert into the arrest of the executives of the Jeffrey Epstein estate, Darren Indike and Richie Kahn. These two men are going to get arrested. There's no question.
Okay.
And that changes everything. That's what you need to do to remove them from this corrupt estate. You have to arrest them in the Virgin Islands. And it looks like it's going to take place.
Do they ever appear physically in the Virgin Islands?
Yes, they do.
Okay,
they have to appear. Yes, they have to appear again on the 22nd of June for depositions.
I'd say every flight over there, they must be pissing their pants every time they're heading down there. Let me ask you a question now. Are you familiar with the name Nicole Junkerman?
No.
She's on the Epstein flight logs.
as what, a guest, a victim?
No, not a victim. No, I think a willing participant. She flew alone privately with Epstein. And are you familiar with the Epstein's investment in a company? I don't have the name in front of me. We did a couple of shows on this. I'll send you the shows. There's a lot of reporting going on about Nicole Junkerman, that she started a company, a gambling company too, as one of them was. She was a model for Elite Modeling Agency. She was involved with this company recently. Suddenly she came into a lot of money. That is behind this social distancing app that's going to be going on everybody's phones. And Epstein was an early investor in that company as well. She also has connections to Mossad. Oh, yeah, I'll send you this stuff. A guy named Johnny Yeah, it's good stuff. A guy named Johnny Vedmore has been working on this. About a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, he came to me about this story about Nicole Junkerman, the Bond girl that nobody's talking about, the Epstein Bond girl that nobody talks about. Since then, we've had about 10 lawsuits all over the world, her suing defamation cases to take the YouTube video down. So it's been taken down in Denmark, Germany, all these different countries. But it's still up in the United States. Anybody can find it. And I've done 2 shows with Vedmore about the Nicole Junkerman, and he's doing great. He has great articles and great work on this investigation into this woman and her connections to Epstein and her connection to that social distancing software that's going on everybody's phones right now for COVID virus.
Remarkable.
What do you make of it?
Well, I make it as an investment that's going to be looked at by all the victims of Jeffrey Epstein, including the Virgin Islands. Because if it's an asset of Jeffrey Epstein, it's going to get litigated.
That's interesting.
To be brought into this.
It was an investment he made early on. They describe it as a small investment made at the startup of the company. So who knows what's going on with it now? Maybe he sold it or what? Or it's in the hands of his brother. Who knows what's going on there? Okay, let's take a look.
It's definitely an asset. It's an asset that has to be looked at.
I agree. I'll send you all that information. Let's take a little commercial break here. We are with Stephen Hoffenberg, who has all the inside scoops on the current litigation with the Jeffrey Epstein case down in the Virgin Islands, former CEO of the New York Post, former CEO of Tower Financial that employed Epstein, was business partners with Epstein, knew Epstein for 9 years. We'll be back with more of Stephen Hoffenberg after these messages. And now a word from our sponsors. If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an aquadam can do the job. An aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119. PureSoapFlakes.com, 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.
It's the Opperman Report. And now, here is investigator Ed Opperman.
Okay, welcome back to the Opperman Report. I'm your host, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. I almost said Private Investigator Jeffrey Epstein. Okay, Private Investigator Ed Opperman. And we're here with Stephen Hoffenberg, who is the former CEO of the New York Post, former CEO of Tower Financial that employed Jeffrey Epstein for 9 years. He knows everybody involved. Now, Stephen, earlier you were telling me off the air that you came across some open source research that's going out there right now that's covering a lot of new topics that you think we should know about?
Yeah, there was an amazing program put together by Narrative Live, which is a media outlet that's starting to really peel back the onion and expose what's taking place on the Jeffrey Epstein cover-up, Epstein-gate, and they're talking about the great job that the FBI has done with Epstein-gate and the huge amount of evidence that the FBI has. And the evidence brings into play very high-level people, very famous people. Tom Barrack, for one, who is the CEO of Colony Capital. He is a person that is involved in what Epstein did in maliciously destroying Towers Financial's business. Barrack, Tom, the CEO of Colony Capital, New York Stock Exchange Company, is also the person of interest in the Donald Trump over $100 million inauguration scandal of raising that over $100 million. So this program on Narrative Live has exposed at the first step the crimes done by Tom Barrack, which is very, very serious. And we're going to continue that exposure.
But what crimes was he involved in with Epstein?
Epstein, Barrack, and John Hall and Alan Cohn looted Towers Financial Corporation out of an enormous amount of money, more money than the Wexner money that he lost. An enormous amount of investor victims' money at Towers Financial was looted by John Hall, who is the single best friend, or was the best friend of Tom Barrack, who Tom Barrack put into position with Jeff Epstein to loot Towers Financial's assets and damage the company and enrich themselves. John Hall was substantially enriched He pled guilty for being enriched for an enormous amount of money. And Jeffrey Epstein is the main person behind that scandal, the main person who ran that scandal.
Kind of off topic, because I know there's a lot of stuff you want to tell us about this new documentary you're talking about, but Bill Gates, what do you make of Bill Gates' association with Epstein? What could they have been doing together?
Epstein was trying to manipulate and seduce Bill Gates into his madness. And what he was appealing to was that Epstein was this tremendous charity giver, a donation type of expert that Gates could benefit by knowing and using the Epstein network of people around the world to donate to charities. So Epstein was manipulating Bill Gates and trying to seduce him with this amazing personality that Epstein had. And Bill Gates went to meetings with Epstein and listened to his presentations on charity. You know, Epstein set up 5 or 6 foundations claiming that they were charities and was supposedly giving away donations all over the university spotlight. Harvard has taken a tremendous amount of bad publicity over Jeffrey Epstein and what he did in damaging Harvard. MIT has taken substantial damage over the Jeffrey Epstein scandal. So that's how Bill Gates comes into this manipulative scandal by Epstein. Bill Gates didn't do anything wrong. Nothing illegal took place. He was a target. Like Prince Andrew was a target. Now, Bill Gates was not interested in raping girls. Let's be very, very upfront about Bill Gates. He had no part in raping girls. I mean, this is ridiculous to blemish Bill Gates like this, as he's been blemished.
Now, the MIT you mentioned, right? Now, he donated specifically to the Media Research Lab. What do you think his motivation was for that?
He wanted to portray Epstein. We should say his name and not call him he. Right. Epstein wanted to portray himself as this type of man like Bill Gates, who gave an enormous amount of money. Epstein lied, and Darren Indike lied continuously about the amounts of money donated. And all these foundations in the Epstein enterprise, they were all fake. All of them were fake. But that's how Epstein was doing business socially. He was climbing up the ladder as this foundation expert and great man in donating money to the educational benefit. Harvard, MIT, it didn't stop. It was the dirtiest campaign ever.
Ohio State University, where that scandal was going on, where the athletes were being molested and letting anybody get into the showers down there at these young men, which, by the way, had the Lex Wexner building, was where this doctor was operating out of, too. Now, what about Epstein's involvement with tabloids and tabloid catch and kill type, especially when the media, especially in the UK, it became a frenzy about 5-6 years ago, talking about Epstein. When Clinton became involved, that picture of Prince Andrew came out. What do you know about Epstein catching and killing stories?
Well, that's a very, very serious scandal, because catch and kill was part of a greater network of stories dealing with President Donald Trump and American media and Mia Farrow's son. And Prince Andrew was a major participant, unfortunately for the Crown, in catch and kill in the UK, and that's what you were referencing. That has destroyed Prince Andrew's career. The catch and kill in the UK, in the United Kingdom, manipulated by Epstein, has destroyed Prince Andrew's work for the English government. There's stories coming forward every day, and now his video that he provided to the media was nominated for an award because it was so horrendous and so bad and so dirty. It was nominated for an award on journalistic accomplishment this past week.
So you don't think that Prince Andrew is guilty of any of these crimes?
I have already said that Jeffrey Epstein boasted about making Prince Andrew his Super Bowl trophy. And I believe Prince Andrew did participate in the charges alleged against him by the victims. There have been substantial charges alleged against Prince Andrew. And now the victims have the opportunity of filing suit in the United States against Prince Andrew, and I'm sure that's going to occur. There's no doubt about it.
What about Bill Clinton? We've never talked about Bill Clinton, you and me.
No, we have not.
Yeah. What do you make of Bill Clinton's friendship with Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell's attending Chelsea's wedding and all of that?
Well, what's been reported is that there was an affair, a love affair between Bill Clinton and Ghislaine Maxwell, that they were lovers.
Really?
And, that's been reported, that those two had a very deep bond and a very strong attraction for each other, and they were lovers. And that Bill Clinton was, without question, involved with Epstein very, very deeply. I mean, Epstein takes credit for the Clinton Foundation, which you have on your website.
Yeah.
I mean, this is remarkable, what Epstein did with Bill Clinton. He actually takes credit for the Clinton initiatives and for the foundation and for teaching Bill Clinton how to raise those hundreds of millions of dollars. And Bill Clinton just denies it. He steps to the microphone and denies all of this continuously. And there's no lawsuits filed against Bill Clinton regarding this. Not yet. There's lawyers advertising.
Yeah.
Yes.
You know what I've always found very interesting is that when the Clinton-Epstein connection came out in the open, and it was almost 24/7 news. It was turning into a 24/7 news story. And what knocked it off the news was that shooting of that cartoonist in France, the Charlie Hebdo, whatever that was, right? Those Muslim guys busted in there and shot up the cartoonist. And after they shot up those cartoonists, those gunmen went to a warehouse, and they were at a warehouse, and some reporter got the phone number of the warehouse. He called them up, and the gunman picked up the phone. And they told the reporter, we were paid $20,000 to do this.
Wow.
And then no one ever talked about Bill Clinton. Well, no one in the mainstream ever talked about Clinton and Epstein again. And it's talked about an alt-right. Talk about it constantly, ad nauseum. But that's what knocked it off mainstream media.
Well, I believe you're going to see a turnaround in how they look at the political side of Jeffrey Epstein very soon. Let's assume that Durham, the special counsel to the Attorney General, starts to prosecute some of the FBI officials, which Hannity talks about all the time, that there's going to be prosecutions of FBI officials. The FBI have done a phenomenal job in investigating Epstein and Trump and Gossman and Nelson Peltz and Michael Milken and Tom Barrack, who was or possibly is a target of the prosecutors currently regarding Epstein and the Trump administration for the inaugural. If all of this comes to light, it's going to really be remarkable news. Breaking news will come out. If Donald Trump has the Attorney General, through this Durham investigation, indict FBI officials, I believe the FBI is going to fight back. I believe they're not going to lay down.
That's interesting. Because what do you make of what we're seeing here? With unidentified federal cops with no badge numbers, guarding a secret police we got out there guarding monuments in D.C. and stuff like that. Now, you've known Donald Trump, you know people around him, Roger Stone, all these guys. What is your take on this?
Well, there is a problem right now that's becoming a grave emergency to protect America. And America needs some sort of basis to not have its assets destroyed and have stores broken into and have monuments destroyed. You have to protect it. America needs protection. And the law and order question is what you're raising. How do you do the law and order protection in America? You have to use whatever resources you can. And there's been a lot of argument in the media, tremendous attack on Donald Trump for using federal protection for America. It's been terrible.
Yeah,
the National Guard.
Yeah, there's been a procedure to handle these kinds of matters without threatening to send the military into states and using unidentified mercenaries. Possibly, we don't know, And we just saw this whole thing, this invasion in Venezuela that has connections to Keith Schiller, that has connections to Trump's security from his rallies, has connections to Rudy Giuliani, and he had a client down there who was involved in all that. Which was a mercenary operation. Trump's connections to Eric Prince. You're not nervous about any of this? A guy out there running around with his private army? Think about it, man.
It's a very big breaking news item.
Yeah.
What was reported yesterday is that they're stopping all of that now because of the exposure, that it might have been wrong for Donald Trump to do that. I know the National Guard has taken tremendous attacks from the media, and the governors have called back the National Guard to get out of the hotels and stop. That they're not allowed to do this. You're raising very serious questions of what can be done to protect America. And Donald Trump is a law and order president. He claims to be a tremendous protector of the people. And we're going to see what happens.
What else do you want to share with us about this recent information you've come across from this documentary?
What I'd like to share is that the public wants to know how 56 girls are in lawsuits over being raped. That's the largest number of raped girls in the history of America. How could this possibly occur that 56 girls were attacked by a maniac, Epstein, and because of his hundreds of millions of dollars and large Epstein enterprise and all his dream team lawyers, how come this guy was never prosecuted? How did he slip by prosecution when there's been knowledge of all these rapes taking place? How come there's no prosecutions? What happened?
Yeah, even McCain's daughter said everybody knew about it.
So what happened? Where did it go wrong? The FBI has the files. We'd like to know what's in the FBI files. The FBI has the evidence. They've done a great job. They've complained. You know, the FBI team complained in the Netflix documentary that an enormous amount of work was flushed down the toilet by Alex Acosta. Why did he do that? Why did Alex Acosta throw away all this FBI hard work? Brad Edwards, who's a lawyer representing victims, has said that the FBI agents have done an enormous amount of work in the investigations of Jeffrey Epstein's enterprise. How come the public doesn't know this? What's going on here? Why is this not being told? Let's find out what's really going on. I believe we need to know what really happened.
You know, it's interesting because, you know, the media also is not covering any of the obvious on-film behavior of Joe Biden, you know. You've seen those videos, I'm sure, you know. He's feeling up those little kids all over the place. And there's even one where he's going after, reaching down for Lindsey Graham's grandson, and Graham swats his hands away, you know. And he doesn't say, well, why'd you do that? You know, he knows he was being, you know.
Well, it isn't at the level of Jeffrey Epstein.
No.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Biden's over-friendly approach, which he says, based on today's way of looking at that type of relationship with young people, he shouldn't do it. He said his manners were wrong. He apologized for it. But it doesn't compare to 56 rapes of young girls. 56 victims.
Well, that's just 56 that it came forward and were vetted and able to put together the case. I'm sure there's hundreds, you know, because we're talking about 3 girls a day. The butler said there was 3 little girls a day coming forward. Some of these women have gone on to careers of their own, successful, and doing the same activities he was doing, procuring women for other people, you know, gone into the pimp business themselves, madams and stuff. So it's way more than just 56.
Well, they say it's hundreds of girls that were raped by Epstein. Now, that's the biggest case of the century of raping girls. How come that case is not being revealed? And it just started this week with this victim settlement fund, which brought a lot of light. I'm sure that's going to open up the door of revealing the hundreds of rapes, because those people don't want to get paid.
Yeah.
Into the damage fund.
Mr. Hoffenberg, we got 2 minutes left. What do you want to leave us with?
I want to look at these hundreds of rapes, the crime of the century when it comes to raping girls. Hundreds and hundreds of girls were raped. Let's talk about it. Let's look at why this man Epstein was such a monster, why this monster got away with it. That's what I want to understand. Hundreds of girls raped, and this monster got away with it. That's what I'd like you to think about, Ed. How did this monster get away with it, Epstein?
Well, clearly intelligence, connections, and powerful politicians. And, had everybody in his pocket, you know. Everybody went in there. And blackmail and dirt on everybody.
Well, that doesn't work in America.
It seems to be working pretty good, man. Seems to be working pretty good. Not for our benefit, but does seems to be working pretty good for his benefit, at least. Mr. Hoffenberg, thank you so much. Anything that comes up, get back to us, and we'll put you right on the air.
Thank you, Ed.
Good night.
Nice talking.
It's always nice.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
And now a word from our sponsors. OppermanReport.com. Hey,
Hey, do you like what you're hearing? Do you like the work that you see us doing here at Opperman Report? You can support that work by becoming a member at OppermanReport.com. And as you have access to over 200 exclusive shows and interviews that you can't find on YouTube or Spreaker or iHeart or iTunes or KYAH. You can't find them anywhere else online, exclusive to our member sections, to our members. Also, too, there's images, videos, documents, court docs. And don't forget, you can hear your ad played here on the Opperman Report, reach hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people on a daily basis because the show is repeated every day all over the world. Contact me at oppermanreport@gmail.com and I'll give you a good deal on advertising rates.
Have you ever thought about opening your own mobile cart or kiosk business? Maybe the facility you manage could establish new revenue by adding coffee, food, or retail services. Cart King International can be the answer to your needs. Cart King is a North American designer and manufacturer of the finest mobile coffee, food, and retail carts and kiosks. Cart King has been working with clients and corporations across North America for 20 years, providing innovative designs, custom manufacturing, and timely delivery. Carts and kiosks are fun, and so are the dozens of designs on our website. Please visit us today at www.cart-king.com or just call us at 1-877-986-7771 and get your sales rolling.
The Opperman Report is brought to you by Aquadam.net. You can give them a call at 707-764-2119. A flooded home is never easy to deal with. You're left with the mess to clean up, the insurance companies to deal with, and not to mention all the memories, the precious memories that are lost in the flood. You can never replace those. And Aquadam can be a tool in your arsenal to protect your home and property from the floodwaters. The cofferdam is filled with water to control water and is reusable as long as it's taken care of. It can protect your home or business from rising floodwaters like a dam, but without the beavers. It can also be used in construction. If you need an area to be dewatered, an Aquadam can do the job. An Aquadam was used at SeaWorld in Orlando for the Mako roller coaster ride during the coaster's construction by dewatering the work area. An Aquadam is now dewatering the work area at San Antonio SeaWorld for their newest roller coaster ride. An Aquadam has been used in many construction projects all around the U.S. and all around the world. Now give Aquadam a call, 707-764-2119. You can look them up online at aquadam.net. You can find them on Facebook at Aquadam Inc. You call them up, you email them, you tell them Ed Opperman sent you, and they're going to take 10% off the price. Aquadam.net, 707-764-2119.
Are you ready to change your life, but don't know how to start? Is your stress and worries keeping you awake at night? Have you been battling grief, anxiety, or depression all alone? Have you lost touch with your own sense of being or spirituality? Soul Free Therapies offers professional and affordable live video streaming counseling and coaching services from the comfort of your own home. Sessions offered in English, Spanish, and Portuguese. Go to our website at www.soul-free.com and book your first session today.
If you find yourself in need of legal representation, it can be a very stressful time in your life. In my career, I have dealt with thousands of lawyers, I've dealt with thousands of law firms, and I can confidently recommend to you Keith M. Davidson at kmdlaw.com. Available 24 hours, 7 days a week. Just log into kmdlaw.com. That's kmdlaw.com. Or you can call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. That's 833-4KMD-LAW. Personal injury, wrongful death, STDs, sexual assault, car accidents. They handle it all efficiently and professionally. It doesn't matter how imposing the opposition may be, because the team at kmdlaw.com are battle-tested and fierce. They will not stop until justice prevails. Go to kmdlaw.com or call toll-free 833-4KMD-LAW. If you're in for the fight of your life, stop screwing around and contact KMD Law. PureSoapFlakes.com. 218-568-2525. Have you ever heard of Castile Soap? Pure Soap Flake Company handcrafts fine soap bars, laundry powder, and concentrated soap flakes using organic vegetable oils from their northern Minnesota facility. Bathe your body and wash your clothes with Pure Soap products that are free of fragrance, GMOs, palm oil, sodium lauryl sulfate, and synthetic additives. Keep it clean, folks. Pure Soap Flake Company products are kind to living creatures and sensitive skin, safe for drains and waterways, and work great in high-efficiency washers and top and front-loading machines. They have a little promotion going on. Contact them to order some soap. Mention the Opperman Report. You're going to get a free gift. They're going to send a little extra soap, travel size, soap bars and laundry soap, cleaning soap flakes. I've been using that stuff all day long today. Great stuff. Order today at puresoapflakes.com or give them a call, 218-568-2525, 218-568-2525. Pure Soap Flake Company is a proud member of the Handcrafted Soap and Cosmetic Guild.